No, I knew that.
All right.
We're a minute late.
Bear trap.
I'm going to call this meeting to order at
First one I've ever seen
6:02.
over there.
All right. Volunteer appreciation is first.
I want my cookie.
Yeah, lots of slack.
Hi. It's not on. There, now I'm on. I'm Trish Crenshaw, and I'm with the Volunteer Coordinating Committee, and I want to thank all of you for your time and effort here. April is Volunteer Appreciation Month. I don't know if you're all aware of that, but it's been that way for as long as I can remember. So on behalf of the Volunteer Coordinating Committee, we want to thank all of you by presenting you cookies over here by Debbie as a thank you, and there's also coffee and water back there for you also. Keizer would not be where we are without all of our volunteers, so we appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you for the cookies.
Thank you for also volunteering.
Yeah, is there a committee?
How's,
that
Myra,
thanks
your
the
newest member, doing?
volunteer thanking
Myra-
committee?
Myra Hernandez,
I think she
the
gets
newest
all the
member.
cookies she wants.
She's fine, but it's only been one meeting.
She's only been, oh, wow.
There's only been one meeting.
Okay.
I will start them here and pass them around.
Oh, my
One.
goodness.
Yes, but she's awesome.
Oh, yeah, she said everybody was very, very nice. She was
You had
really
an evil
impressed
look
with the
there,
guys.
Matt.
I better
Thank
get
you.
two.
Thanks, Fish.
Because I'll burn them up.
We've got the balance.
Huh? I know. I got out of work late.
I think you missed it last time, or was it the time before? We made some big decisions.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, no. That flu bug.
I believe the comment was one.
Whoa, hold up, he's double dipping? No, I don't want it.
Not after you
It's one for both
Well, this
personalities.
is so sweet.
It's for Volunteer Appreciation Month.
One or the other?
Volunteer.
I'll take
There's enough for everybody to have.
Here you go.
I know.
Not Wayne. Wayne, we just like Wayne.
The whole tray.
Good luck.
Did I get it out? And I'll pass it back that way? Okay.
Yes.
We forgot the milk. Oh, okay.
Coffee and water is not milk.
Okay,
I feel appreciated.
we'll wait.
I do too.
No, carry on, please.
Carry on? All right, so the next thing on the agenda is approval of minutes from February 2018.
And second.
Mr. Taylor has moved that we accept the minutes as posted. Donna has seconded them. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes are approved. New business, park reports.
We have an
You're
interest.
first.
I am first. I have Meadows and Clear Lake, and I went and visited them yesterday. I did notice that at Meadows, it looks like it needs to be mowed, but you probably already know that.
In between the rain showers.
In between the rain showers, it just needs to be mowed. Yeah, yeah. I figured you probably already knew that, but I just thought I'd note that. I noticed the wood chips under the swings need to be replaced, but I know you guys are about to start tearing all that up anyway, so that's probably why that looks like that. There were not a whole lot of branches down in either one, but I did notice at Clear Lake, somebody made a big stack of the branches by the tree that's hollowed out in the middle. You probably know where that's at, but somebody made a stack of branches there, so.
It was probably my son.
Oh,
It was probably my son.
maybe. So, but that's all I saw. I didn't actually see, there wasn't a whole lot of damage from the storms. I kind of figured there would be, but there wasn't.
We actually were pretty lucky
Yeah,
compared to last year's storm that came about at the same time.
yeah,
Not
agreed.
so lucky.
That's it.
Donna?
I have nothing to report. Northridge continues to be its wilderness area, and the Ryan Hill Memorial is just fine.
Mr. Holland?
Mr. Holland, oh. So I'm going to report on Keizer Little League. I know a lot about that because I lived there every day, as Roland did years ago. A lot has happened up at Keizer Little League. As you remember, a year ago in July, we got a grant from the Parks Board here for $10,000, a matching grant. We put that to good use. We got a grant, not necessarily a grant, but we've got money that comes each year from the Keizer Rotary. We get $12,500 every year for 4 years. The complex is so full that we're generating a lot of income from all-star tournaments. We're getting most of the all-star tournaments back here. We do a program called NAFTA, which is 150 teams. It's a real high-level softball group. Benji used to run the Wallace Marine Park, owns, I think, the rights to that, and he operates out of McMinnville, but whatever spaces he can get on our field, that literally he uses. So that really helps us, especially with the concessions. Where we used to operate till July 15th, we now operate till October, well, almost the end of October if the rain doesn't get too bad. The NAFTA people really love our field because of what's happened to it. It has never looked, is this right, Robert? It has never looked as good as it is right now at this early stage of the year.
Yeah, even back in the day.
Yeah, it doesn't look this good.
No.
One of the reasons is because we're able to do a better job of maintenance. One of the things that tears fields up is the grass. You can't mow it because it's so wet. Robert can relate to this, and so it holds moisture. We're mowing the fields here in the last month and a half, 2 times a week, and they're pretty dry. I don't know if they played up there today, but they were looking at playing up there in practice today. Their season starts next Saturday, and the fields will be completely full if the weather's nice to them. We've upgraded, as I mentioned before, field number 3 got completely upgraded except for fencing, and we're going to probably do that sometime down the road. We just finished last month upgrading the 2 top fields up by the parking lot, putting brand new fences on everything. I'm talking about the backstops. The fences are now up 6 feet instead of 4 feet.
Save on windshields.
Yeah, it really looks impressive there. We do not have Field 5 online yet because we regutted that in the fall. And when I mean regutted it, we rototilled the whole complex in there on Field 5. We fixed the sprinklers. We put a better taper on the infield. All brand new seed that we got donated. And it'll probably be online about the 15th of this month. But talk about a field, there won't be another field in the valley that will look as good and more playable than Field 5.
Which one's Field 5?
Field 5 is the one right below the clubhouse. It's one of the major fields.
Oh, okay, it faces to the east.
Yeah.
It faces the softball major field.
No, it faces the clubhouse up above. Okay? The wall field is right next to the wall field.
Yeah.
Okay? So we've redone the wall field, upgraded that. 5, as I said, we've done everything to that, including getting ready to put cinder on the warning track. If there was one thing we have problems with, and I couldn't even describe how bad it is the water that comes down the North Road. The water comes down the North Road that deep at a fast pace. And it's caused us, we've put in 2 drain tiles to take care of it, and it looks like it's going to take care of it. The first time we put it in, we didn't get the top part quite done, and what happened, the water was so heavy and fast, it washed all the mud out of the drain tile, and all the pipes floated to the top. So if you've never had to redo a drain after something like that happens,
Does that come off the church parking lot?
no, No, it comes off the parking lot. One of the things we have to do in the parking lot is someday get that paved, and so far we've gotten one bid, and I think it's somewhere around 60,000 to pave it. But I mean, the whole parking lot, which is probably twice the size of this room, all drains to the north service road, and that's where that water comes straight down onto the fields.
Wonderful.
Well, it's big. I'll show you some pictures. You'd be absolutely shocked. So we've upgraded everything. We've trimmed a lot of trees out there, cleaned up stuff that needed to be done for years. We haven't got started on the lights yet because we're trying to solve some of the problems with the parking. But we ordered what they call safety nets for the wheel. I don't know if I've told you this, Robert, but where people, the backstops and all the balls are coming over and hitting them, we now are going to put up a net in that whole area.
We've been gonna do that for 35 years.
It's just about 35 years.
Yep.
You're exactly right, Mr. Taylor. I had drawings back then, that's right. So we already have the netting, and that will go up here pretty soon. We have a full-time, if you know the president, Brad Arnsmeyer, his dad and mom stay in a motor home real close to us, and they are volunteering 100% of their time this summer maintaining that complex, keeping it up. We already had it at top speed, but he's the one that's mowing twice a week now. I mean, everything you can imagine. We're fixing things that we've never fixed for 20, 30 years. Electrical stuff, doesn't matter what it is, we're being fixed. Last year, I took care of the concession stand. We turned the concession stand around from where we made about $8,000 2 years ago. And last year we got it up to almost $24,000, which is a huge deal. So that's going to help us to maintain it. We've actually overused the money that's in the complex because those 2 fields that we put brand new fences on cost us $25,000. It was a huge expense for us. So we've used up every cash we've got on that. But we've got other projects we want to do. The biggest thing we got to do yet out there is put a brand new roof on. The roof needs to be repaired so bad, and we don't have the money for that, but we're going to keep working on that.
On the field house?
Both of them, field house and the concession. Both of them are really bad. I'm surprised we're not getting leaks through them, but the tiles are all blowing off. The bathroom ones have metal, and that's what I want to put on the other 2. But that's like 3 times the cost, but it's the only way to do it because it's the right way to do it. So we've got some painting to do yet this year.
Have they fixed the bleachers? Some of the bad boards
They
and
fixed
stuff?
those last year.
Okay.
What
Fixed
about
those
the
last-
dugouts?
They haven't done anything to dugouts except fix them. We're going to probably make them concrete dugouts down the road. But for right now, we're just hoping we just shored them up for this windstorm because we can't afford to pay for dugouts if they do blow down because, as I said, we're out of cash. But the dugouts is probably one of the top priorities. We had 3 things, and it's the only one we haven't covered for this year is the dugouts. Questions about the complex? You have to go see it. You'd be absolutely
I've
amazed.
driven by a few times, and every time I do, I just go, I can't believe it's the same place.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
It is amazing what's happened there, and what it's done is brought all kinds of tournaments there, and which is good for the city.
Oh, yeah.
Because that means people are gonna go up to Keizer Station, spend their money at McDonald's and different places. And not much more capacity we can put into it until we get the lights up. But it is 100% occupied every day once the season starts.
And it starts when?
Starts this next Saturday.
Exactly, okay.
Thank you, Clint.
You're welcome.
What about Northridge?
What about it?
I mean, sorry, not Northridge, Mike Whittam?
Oh,
Does he have-
I'll cover that next month.
well, it's every other month, Clint.
All right.
Okay.
Mr. Lawyer?
So, over here, across the way, courtesy of Clyde Creek Watershed Council, the local church here, and a bunch of other organizations, is nice and clean and pretty and sparkling. Took out almost an entire, I think it was a 30-yard debris bin, almost completely full last month. A lot of hard work went into that. We had a bunch of folks from Whitaker come out and support that project, as well as Claggett Creek Middle School, and it was a big event. We got a lot done in a fairly short period of time, but as you can tell, you walk through there, it smells like bark dust now instead of other things. And the skate park was wet the last few days. I was over there, drainage looked pretty good. Talked with some kids that were playing over there, and they're pretty happy with the changes so far. One young man was out here using the bike repair station, so I know Hirsch and his wife came out and did some cleaning on that and kind of got it all spruced up here during the event last month. And he just commented just how much nicer things in this area have gotten over the last 18 months, so very appreciative of that. You know, close to the Civic Center here, so we want to kind of keep it nice. The gazebo could probably use a good pressure washing up around that area, especially since the Heritage Center just did theirs and it looks really nice and sparkly, and now the gazebo looks less sparkly. Might have to break out my pressure washer one of these weekends and come work on that, but I don't know. Bob Newton is wet. The park could use some mowing, but again, it's been saturated, so I can imagine it's probably hard to get down into. Looks like there's some grass starting to grow a little bit in the horseshoe areas. Some wood fiber material could probably be moved around a little bit in the playground, but that's as simple as getting a hard rake and going out there and moving some around. Couple neighbors talked to around the area. They said that they've seen an increase early this year of people participating out there. One gal asked if the tennis courts could be cleaned. I don't really know what that entails, but made a comment about the courts being cleaned up a little bit, maybe out of slime. But I imagine once it heats up, that pretty much just goes away anyways, right?
Yeah, and we're planning on having that court resurfaced after July 1 anyway, so.
Even better. So, yeah, not a lot of negative comments from folks. Again, being this close to the Civic Center and just having a pretty recent major cleanup, it went pretty well. City staff kicked butt and got us lots of material to help kind of clean that up. It was a big effort. I think I convinced Robert to get us a few more trash cans, which made life a little bit easier. We had some equipment out there moving stuff around, so just another really good event here around the park. And I know you were out there, I think, weren't you? Yeah, Wayne was there, and who else was there? I'm trying to think. We had a lot of people there. It was like a month ago, so I kind of forget. But that's about it.
Thank you, Matt. Is there any new business? Old business? Now we'll come to the star report of today. Staff report.
Okay, had a fun day last week planting some trees up at Ryan Hill Park with Forest Ridge Elementary students. They've been very generous over the last few years doing some fundraising and donating trees to the city, and we kind of pick one or two parks to put some new trees in, and it's a fun time. About 30 students show up of all ages, and we work together, and I show them how to properly plant trees, and then they get to enjoy those for years to come. So it's always a really fun project, and it seems like it always rains every year on us, and it just makes it a big muddy mess, and it's just fantastic, and we all smile about it. So that's always fun. We have received our 2 new lawnmowers, and we've started putting them to use when we're dodging these monsoon rainstorms. A lot of the parks that you guys mentioned that needed mowed probably got mowed really recently, and it's just that you were there maybe 2 weeks ago and they hadn't been mowed yet. Pretty much every park's been mowed twice that I know of. So we're out there. Bob Newton is soggy. We've already gotten 2 lawnmowers stuck at Bob Newton this year. Of course, on the side that has no trees, so that's always fun to pull out to. But What else? We got, legal department's been working on updating the park rules. I'm hoping that you will each get an email before next meeting to review those and take a look, see what you think, and then we can have a discussion on that. In the email, you'll probably see the new wording in a different color than the old wording, so you can see the change that was made, not just the new updated document. So please be watching for that, and feel free to ask any questions before next meeting through email. And we also got 2 new trailers to put those mowers in, big white box trailers. It'll keep the mowers dry. We won't have to load and offload each day our equipment, and it'll keep it safe while we store it at one end of a park while we're working out of sight. So hopefully we'll have a couple trucks to go with that here soon. They were ordered a couple months ago, and we're just waiting on them. So that's it.
Matt?
Mr. Chair, Robert, question. So as it relates to the parks rules and stuff, help me with the process on this. So I'm looking at this in terms of a similar process for like state rulemaking and things like that. So is there a public process involved with the parks rules, or is it just a recommendation from the Parks Board? What's that going to look like?
I don't know the exact process. I believe it'll go to you guys. You can review it, approve it, and then council will adopt the new rules. I don't think we're actually gonna have a public hearing on it, but
I would imagine probably if there would be one, it would probably happen at the council level,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Robert, I have a question for you.
okay. Yes, it does have to have a public hearing
At the council
at the
level.
council level. Yeah, Clint.
Question for you. Keizer Rapids Park,
Yeah.
all those great big piles,
Yep.
when are we gonna burn those?
We're
When I open the season, right?
the season, the burn season.
No, when I open
His
the concert
amphitheater.
season.
Oh no.
It's the
We're hoping those will be
pyrotechnics for
gone
the
by then.
shows.
Yeah,
The plan at this point, as far as I know, is still to get those burnt in April, and April is soon running out. So
right.
could that carry into May? Yes, it could. But absolutely, we need to get them out of there.
Do you have somebody that can go?
I'll explain that, if I can. That, from what I understand, they need to have the contract signed with the farmer. Because until that's signed, then it isn't officially farmland. That's what I was told by.
That could be, yeah.
So they're just waiting on that.
So, have you got somebody that can help you pick up all the sticks that are not in the pile, that are all around? I mean, it will take somebody 2 full days with a big crew just to pick up all that stuff that's laying there.
Yeah, my understanding is there's some large volunteer groups kind of on hold right now, waiting for the go-ahead.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually can get started on that now. I mean, anytime they can get on the field. Yes,
Robert, answer my question.
okay.
Robert, how did the rubber surface at the Big Toy hold up in all this rain this winter?
Amazing. Just mind-boggling how that much rain can pass through that surface and not puddle up. It's looking awesome.
Excellent.
I'm really excited to see it going up at Meadows Park. So, and I've been getting multiple emails from people just curious where they can go that is wheelchair accessible, and I have one option for them right now, and I'll soon have 2. So, it's pretty cool. Debbie just reminded me that we had the final picket order has been actually placed as of today. So I think there's 5 additional pickets for those who were waiting on their last picket to get installed. And now we are no longer taking any more picket orders. So.
Ran out of room.
No, we still have a little room. It's just the process of
Or 2 at a
ordering up 1 or 2 at a time is not good. So. That's it.
Any other questions for Robert? Roland?
Pretty uneventful. Robert mentioned on one of the discussions we talked about, because we had some calls, or I personally had some calls myself in regards to what we're gonna do with the piles. Some citizens have been concerned about the burning and whatnot. And more than likely was what we were told, that they're probably gonna burn it. But it's, the discussion what went on arsenal about picking up the sticks and all that, so you kind of took most of my, the main discussion. The other thing I was gonna talk about was our LOC meeting, which we had regional, which is League of Oregon Cities. This last Friday was pretty eventful for our, and I couldn't attend, but Kathy went. And also, we had an executive session in regards to burning. Also, one thing I want to talk to also about was thank the people that responded to the town hall we had Tuesday with Senator Kim Thatcher and Representative Bill Post. I think it was pretty well attended and some pretty good questions there, I thought. Pretty much that's all I have. The other thing I was going to tell you about was our upcoming, and Jim, you would know about this, the season for budget is upcoming, and it's kind of interesting because the first year you're kind of lost in how it goes on, but the more you participate, every year you start to pick up more and more. And just by listening to some of the counselors and some of the people that have been around, you kind of learn a lot more about how the city works. And that's interesting, and it takes a lot of time, but it's pretty interesting stuff. So pretty much all I got. That's it. Thank you.
Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, on the budget, I really, if you're interested in your city at all, that's where you really learn what's going on. And city staff does such a great job of making it very understandable. And I think you found this out the first year you did this. You were able to follow along. It's not, there's no algorithms in there or anything. I mean, this is all pretty cut and dried of what it is, and there's good discussions, and of course they want public input, and but if nobody attends, they don't get any public input. So I really would like to see more people attend those, because that's where your money's spent. And what are the dates on those?
It's the second week of May, I believe.
Right, and I think it starts on a Tuesday and a Thursday.
I've got it. May 1st and 3rd, and possibly on the 10th.
We go
Okay.
to pretty much the whole, 2.5 hours?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
More than that. So, that's how you learn, you're right.
Yes, Dylan.
Where are we at on the smoking stuff? Last I know, we,
For the council. I talked about smoking in the park.
yeah.
We
Yeah,
have not got nothing formal before the council yet. Am I right there?
no,
Yeah, I don't think so.
what?
I'm not sure. It could
I
be,
definitely showed up and said, hey, this is what we recommended
I
to
think
you.
Shannon was working.
it's probably, when they do the park rules, it's part of those park rules.
Okay.
They will probably be addressed then.
Okay.
Shannon's been on vacation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Last I'd heard, I had given the parks report, so, okay.
Any other questions for Owen?
Yes, sir.
No, I said, are there any other questions for you?
I'm good.
I know, but I'm asking these people if they have any questions for Owen.
The first bank of Aurora. Pardon? The first bank of Aurora.
Oh, we already missed the record. Thank you, Roland. Now, our youth committee liaison is not here. Okay.
Brooke, it really
Any other
good.
business anybody wants to bring brief? Okay, Donna.
Just wanted to let everybody know that the Parks Foundation, just received a $500 donation for a grant for dog park. So if anybody knows or has heard from anybody that would like to have additional whatevers for the dog park, let them know to, if they want to volunteer time or do or whatever, that we, again, on the foundation website, we have an application for monies, for grants. And then they can use that, and then they need to come to this Parks Board with their proposal, so the city can also approve what it is they're doing.
Thank you, Donna.
Yes,
The person who donated the money didn't have any suggestions?
no.
Okay.
Yes, Matt.
I think you're up. Wayne had his hand first.
Oh,
sorry.
well, I saw your hand before.
I
But
just
go on.
wanted to report that the soccer field at Country Glen Park is up and running.
Do they have to swim across it?
It's pretty wet, and
It's actually water polo?
This year, the goalposts have feet. I put some stabilizers on them so they don't fall over quite as readily.
Awesome.
And soccer field's ready to go. And then I wanted to say one thing about Hidden Creek. I think there's a possible dead tree there, a pine tree.
2.
I have a picture of it, if I can
Yeah,
see
we have 2 dead trees there. We need to get them cut down soon.
How'd you find it if it was hidden?
The question was, how did I find Hidden Creek Park if it's hidden? You start at Country Glen and you walk along the path.
You fall off the edge, there you are.
You know, the survey crew that laid out that subdivision called it Hidden Ditch.
Not a ditch.
It's a ditch. Yes,
It's a
Matt?
natural
So,
habitat.
The Clegg Creek Watershed Council, City of Keizer, will be hosting on April 21st a Soggy Day in the Park, which will be a free event to anybody that comes. It's going to be at Keizer Rapids Park, and we're going to start actually the morning with a volunteer project where we're going to get some youth out there to put the compost around the 70-plus trees that was done by the Keizer Rotary. We're going to have Adams Rib Smokehouse doing free hot dogs while supplies last. We'll have
Have to burn some of those fields.
we're going to have a couple inflatable devices for children to entertain themselves on. I'm not going to call them bouncy houses because legal doesn't like that. But they're not technically bouncy houses. They're like an obstacle course and stuff. There will be music of some kind. We're not sure quite yet what that's going to be, whether it's a PA system or a band.
Not singing, are you?
No, ma'am.
Oh, good.
There will be nature hikes, boat rides after a presentation on water safety from CERT. It's going to be a big event. We're really excited. So spread the word, get folks out there. One of the cool things is because we have the new staff, the Parks Department will be out there with the backhoe, as I understand. And Robert's looking like this is the first he's heard of it.
The stunned look on his face.
Say what? Talk to your boss.
Uh-oh. It's a family affair.
So,
Duties as assigned?
I'm sorry?
Other duties as assigned?
So anyways, I've been told that there's going to be a backhoe and some city staff out there supporting some of the event and kind of, which is good. Yeah. Could be. Well, and I understand it's parks specifically to feature the new employees we had through the parks fees. So I will get my counseling session from Robert on this one later. But it's going to be fun. Really just a day to highlight all the activities that happen out at Keizer Rapids. You know, everything from the nature walks through the potential of things that can happen. So we're really excited about that event. Again, April 21st. So come out and check it out. It's going to be a great day. Sunny day, soggy day, who cares? It's Oregon. Get over it.
What day is this? Saturday?
Saturday, yeah. So, going to be a lot of fun. But we got some great sponsors that have come on board for it. We're really appreciative of that. And it's, you know, free to the public. So, fun for all ages. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And no work involved.
You, Matt? Yes, huh?
Can I go back and ask Donna, what is the actual date and time of the next
I don't know.
Parks Board meeting?
Oh, well, wait a minute. I suppose I could look it up. If I want.
Then I tend to.
That's for your Saturday.
Bribery.
It's on the 15th of May.
Thanks.
Anything else? Stand adjourned at 6:36.